This is my Omen 15 laptop. I've pretty much used this laptop for literally everything that I do, from recording and editing videos to playing games and watching porn, YouTube. I rely on this laptop very heavily, and it's been a good laptop. I've had it since 2020 and it never really broke down on me. It has a 1660 Ti, a 4800H Ryzen 7, 1TB of storage, and 16 gigs of RAM. And this laptop still kicks ass in almost every game at like 1080p medium to high settings. It does everything that I needed to do decently, but it is starting to show its age. My CPU is constantly hitting 100%. It's not really running DaVinci smoothly anymore. It's really fucking loud if I open up like 4 Chrome tabs.
Oh my fucking god. Dude, it sounds like a fucking jet engine. Oh my god.
I remember I was in my college library once. I opened up my gaming laptop and dude, it sounded like a fucking jet engine. Like everyone in the library was probably staring at me. So I've just been wanting to build a gaming PC for a very long time, but I haven't been able to because, well, I was a broke ass teenager with no money back then. But now I have a job and I have the money to build a PC. But there's just one problem. I have no fucking idea how to build one and I've never built one before. So I started asking all these questions like, what parts do I even need for a PC? How do I know if the parts are compatible with each other? What is a bottleneck? Which cables plug into which? The fuck is an AM5 socket? What tools do I need? All of this was just overwhelming, so I started doing research, started watching PC videos and tutorials and watching Linus Tech Tips. I started playing PC Building Simulator and getting addicted to this game, which I now have like close to 40 hours of playtime. Went to the GPU and CPU hierarchy to see which one performs the best and fits my budget. Went to the bottleneck calculator to see if my CPU would bottleneck my GPU, vice versa. Went on PC Parts Picker and selected all my components to see if they were compatible with each other, checking how much wattage I need for my build. And after a lot of research, I have finally decided my PC components list. My budget for this build was going to be around the $1,000 mark, maybe even a little bit more. And as of December of 2024, it's probably not the best time to build a PC since the 50 series is about to drop any day now, and computer parts are about to skyrocket through the roof in 2025. So I wanted to buy all of my components before 2025. So I began dumping all of my money to this PC. There was a Black Friday sale going on Amazon, so I bought this fish tank Corsair case that comes with 3 RGB fans installed for $90. For my CPU cooler, I went with an Arctic freezer for $33.10. I also bought these braided Asia horse cables for $24.48 because I want this PC to look aesthetically good. For the storage, I got this Western Digital 1TB SSD for $65. I know 1TB nowadays isn't really that much, especially if you're recording videos and playing like AAA games, but I will upgrade the SSD later on to like a 2 or a 4TB one. For the monitor, I went with this curved Asus TUF Gaming 165Hz 1440p for $179. The graphics card, an RTX 4070 Super Overclocked Edition from Asus for $640. There was also a Black Friday deal going on in Micro Center where you can get this AM5 TUF Gaming motherboard and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, a Ryzen 7600 X3D, which this CPU, you can't get it anywhere else but Micro Center. All of these parts for only $400, which isn't that bad. I also picked up a Corsair 750 watt power supply for $90. Now all I had to do was pick up all of these parts in person from the Brooklyn location of Micro Center, which is like almost a 2-hour train ride away from my house. But I don't care. So I hopped on the train and made my way down to Micro Center. inside Micro Center because I'm currently on this big ass power supply. Dude, this shit is so fucking heavy. Like, so I'm going back home right now. I safely got back home from the city with my stuff. Over the following couple of days, my orders from Amazon started arriving at my doorstep. Also, this is really funny. My PC case came in this comically large box. For a second, I thought Corsair sent me a fucking missile to my house, but when I opened it, it was just half empty. What a waste of cardboard. An update on my 4070. It said it was going to arrive until January 14th. I am not going to wait that long. When I tried finding 4070 Supers on Amazon, they all said it was going to arrive like late December or January, and I was wondering why. But then I heard the news. They just stopped production on the 4070 Super and now they are going out of stock everywhere. But you know where else the 4070 Super is in stock? Micro Center. So I canceled my Amazon order and ordered the 4070 Super from the Flushing location, which is like a 1 hour 30-minute train ride. So I hopped on the train again and made my way to Micro Center again. I got the 4070 Super. Just right now, I'm going back home now. So I just gotta walk to the bus stop. I safely got back home from the city again, and I got my 4070 Super. Yay. So I finally got all of my components right here sitting in my bedroom ready to be built. It took me only a week to get all of the parts. Then on a fateful day on Friday the 13th of December is when I finally started building the PC. Oh, what a date. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, right? Here's all of my components placed on my desk for absolutely no reason other than to just showcase it in front of the camera. So I had to put everything down on the ground. So surprisingly, you do not need a ton of tools to build a PC. All you really need is just a cheap screwdriver set you can buy on Amazon for like $8, a kitchen knife, scissors, a USB stick, and a regular size screwdriver. So I started off unboxing the case first, in which I had a little bit of trouble getting out of the box, so I put it on the ground. Whoa. Yo, this is so fucking cool. Oh my god. Look at that. That actually looks so cool. Oh my god. Okay, this is the... I think this is the manual right here. Yeah, this is the manual. What the hell's a manual? This is just words. I can't read words. I can only read pictures. What the fuck? I'm a visual learner. I can't... So I'm just gonna... Yeah, put this aside. I'll work on it later once I get all the... Once I finish, setting up the motherboard, I'm gonna install it into this case. So yeah, this is so cool. I love it. Oh my god. I started off unboxing the motherboard, which came with a not so pleasant surprise. Yo, this looks so cool. That looks very scary to work on. Oh my god. Okay, just carefully hold that. Okay, that's the manual. These are the connectors right here, I believe. I don't know what connectors these are. Sorry about that. If you hear that fucking shitty ass Honda Civic outside. Okay. Is this a knife?
What the fuck is this? Oh, it's the Wi-Fi router thingy, whatever the hell it's called. It's the Wi-Fi thing. You know, you attach it to your motherboard so you can get some signal. There's just a bunch of shit right here. Oh wait, look! Oh my god, look! Stickers! Oh my god! Hold on. Okay, so I'm just gonna put all this shit to the side real quick. Okay, before I touch anything, shit, I don't want to scratch it. Okay. Before I even do anything, I want to connect my power supply. I heard that if you like connect your power supply to your wall, and if you like touch it like, you know, a couple of times, you know, while you're building your computer, it like gets rid of all the static electricity from your body, because you don't want, like, you know, static electricity to build up on your body and like damage your components. Personally, I don't really think static electricity is like a big deal. I mean, it's really rare for your components to be killed by static electricity, but there is a small chance that it could happen, and I don't want to take that risk. So I'm just gonna plug in my power supply. I'm gonna unbox it actually real quick. Okay, that's how you open it. Okay. Oh my god, I almost dropped everything over here. Okay. Power supply right here. So
I plugged my power supply into the wall and turned it on, and I try not to forget to touch it every time I move. Okay, now we are getting to the fun part. We're going to be installing the CPU onto the motherboard. Now, I have an AM5 motherboard, which means it has these tiny little pins on it, and that's where your CPU goes on top. You have to be really careful to install your CPU onto that socket, because if you bend any of those pins, you're going to have to grab like a toothpick or a needle to rebend those pins.
okay. Oh my god. Okay, just gotta, probably gonna put this on the ground with him. Like that, okay. Of course, gotta touch it. Okay, and I just gotta open the latch up. Like so, like that, okay. Put it up like this. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So I gotta line it up with the triangle. Where the fuck is it? Where's the triangle? What? I don't see the triangle. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's right there. Okay, I see it right there. It's right there. Okay. Got the processor, which is literally like so expensive. I cannot, you know, afford it. So I just gotta, okay. Now I just gotta put this in here, I think. I don't know. Oh my god, I really don't want to do this, bro. I feel like I'm gonna break it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm scared. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna watch a tutorial, bro. Hold on. Okay. So I just gotta... Am I doing it right? Oh my god. Why isn't the cover coming off? I think it's supposed to come off. Okay, it's very, okay, it's tightly secured right there. Okay, I got the processor installed. Okay, Jesus Christ, glad that's over. So now what I need to do is I need to install the RAM. I'm going to install the RAM first, and then I'll install the SSD.
So when you're installing your RAM sticks, you would want to place them on the dual channel slot. So for my motherboard, I would have to place it on these gray slots to take advantage of dual channel RAM, whatever the fuck that means. I opened up both the clips and I had to align the RAM stick with this little notch with the notch on the motherboard, and I spent a real good minute trying to figure out how to install it. It was scary because you need to really push the RAM down on the socket. I've installed laptop RAM before, but that requires much less force. I grabbed a flashlight to make sure the RAM stick is actually aligned, and I pushed it down until I heard a click. I've successfully installed RAM. Or at least I thought I did, so I started installing the second RAM stick and pressed it down until I heard a click again. I thought I installed it properly, but realized the clips are open and are not securing the RAM stick. I pushed it down some more until...
Oh, okay, wait, it wasn't secured. Okay, it's supposed to like snap. Okay, hold on. There we go.
Nice. That literally took 20 minutes to do. Now it's time to install the SSD, which I'm going to place it right here. I've installed an SSD before on my laptop and it's the same exact process. I began unscrewing the heat shield. And just like the RAM stick, you have to line up the notch. I carefully put it into place. And I close the latch to secure it. Also, make sure you peel this sticker off of the heat shield as this is used to cool down your SSD. I placed the heat shield back on and screwed it into place. Nice. So now it's time to install the CPU cooler. So I began unboxing the cooler.
Okay guys, I just literally spent like the last 10 minutes looking for a fucking screwdriver in my house and I couldn't find any in my house, but I eventually did. So yeah, I just gotta unscrew these things and install like these things for the cooler. So I'm gonna install the CPU cooler right now.
I have an aftermarket cooler for an AM5 motherboard, so I will have to remove these two thingies. I don't know what they're called. Then place down these spacers, and then screw these two things vertically. Luckily, my cooler came with thermal paste in the box, so I placed a small amount of thermal paste. That's probably a little bit too much, but oh well. I carefully lowered the cooler and screwed that bitch in. Then I installed the fans and made sure that they were facing this direction as this will be the back of my case and I want air to be exhausting out the back. If you want to have positive airflow inside of your case, you will have to have the same amount of exhaust fans as intake fans, but if you don't have an even amount of fans, then you should have more intake than exhaust fans. Now it's time to connect the fans. I had to daisy chain two of the fans together and plug this end part of the fan header to the CPU fan, which has these 4 pins. I then linked 2 of the RGB fan headers together, then connected this end part to the Add Gen 2-to-1, which has these 3 pins instead of 4.
Okay, so I did a little bit of work off camera. I got rid of the front glass panel, I got rid of the side panel, I got rid of the back panel too. So I think I'm ready to install my motherboard into my case now. So yeah.
I have an ATX size motherboard, which means it has 9 screw holes and I have to align them with the 9 standoffs in my case. So I carefully lowered my motherboard onto the case.
Shit. Hopefully my motherboard isn't damaged because I literally just hit it on the side right here. Fuck. I really hope it's not damaged.
I checked every single hole with a flashlight to see if everything was aligned with the standoffs. I then started screwing everything in.
Okay, so, wow, Jesus Christ. So I just finished putting in all the screws to secure the motherboard. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna start plugging in all the case cables on this motherboard and then probably like start connecting the power supply.
I didn't record myself plugging in all the case connectors to the motherboard because I thought it would be a pain in the ass. So here's where every single connector plugs into because I'm too lazy to explain. I spent probably an hour plugging in all 3 of these case fans because If you remember, there was a mess of cables in the front. So I unplugged all of these fans and rerouted them to the back of the case, and my brain was literally melting because there was like a clusterfuck of cables in the back. But anyways, just like the CPU cooler, I had to daisy chain 3 of the fan headers and plug this end part to the CHA fan 3. I then plugged all the RGB headers and plugged it into add gen 2 to 3. Okay, I'm finished with the case connections. Now it's time to plug and install the power supply. I also didn't record this part because it was also a pain in the ass to install. It took me like an hour, but let me break it down for you. The big fat 24-pin connector goes into this part where it says ATX and plugs into the right side of the motherboard. It's the biggest power supply connector out of all of them. Next up is the CPU connector, which plugs right here. Some motherboards are different where you only need to plug in 16 pins, but for my motherboard I have to plug in 12 pins, but you technically don't need to plug in this 4-pin connector as this is only used for overclocking, but I still put it in anyways just in case. Next up is the PCIe connector, which plugs right here, and this connector plugs into your graphics card. I also added these Asia Horse extension cables because the default power supply cables look kinda ugly. But anyways, I got all of the power supply cables plugged in, and now all I need to do is plug in the graphics card. So I started unboxing it.
Okay, let me just grab a knife. Alright. Oh crap, I just ripped the box. No, bro. No. I ripped the fucking box. Ooh. Okay. Look at this packaging. Look at this fancy ass packaging right here. Okay. So. Okay. Moment of truth. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm guessing these are the connectors right here. Okay, I don't think I need that, but let's just get this card out now.
So I took off the anti-static bag and just look at that card. That is beautiful. I started peeling off all the plastic from the card. I aligned my GPU with the PCIe slot to see how many brackets this card would take up, and I'll need to remove 2 of these brackets. So I started unscrewing them, and some idiot forgot to adjust his camera to record that part. And just like installing RAM and an SSD, you will need to open up this clip and align the notch on the GPU with the PCIe slot. It was really scary installing it because this is literally the most expensive part of the PC and I cannot break it, but eventually I got the hang of it. I tightened the bracket up to secure the card in place, and now I just need to plug the cable in which I thought you only needed an 8-pin connector, but turns out you need a 12-pin, and my Asia Horse cables were too big to fit inside the GPU, so I had to end up using this stupid ugly cable the GPU came with and plug another 8-pin Asia Horse cable and plug the 2 cables into this cable. That is so many cables, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so I finally got all the wires routed to the GPU. Took a very long time to do that, but now I think it's finally done now. I don't think I need to plug in anything else. Okay, so let's, I guess I'll just unbox the monitor now. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. I think I'm done. I'm done. So I got the monitor out. I plugged everything into the computer, my mouse, my keyboard, my monitor to my graphics card. Oh yeah, also I forgot to install this Wi-Fi router. So got that in. Okay, let me just switch on the power supply. My mouse is lighting up. Look, and there's a red light on the graphics card. I don't know if that means it's bad. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It's working, but 2 of the fans are not working. It's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Yes, it's working. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's working. It's working. It's working. I'm in the BIOS. Okay. I need to find a way. I need to figure out the problem why those fans are lighting up. Okay. So I think I fixed the RGB issue. So now the RGB should work on this. So I'm gonna turn it back on. Just gotta plug in the power supply real quick. I forgot to. Fuck. Okay, so it's plugged in. So now this should work. Fuck. Okay, this is attempt number 2. So this should work now. It works. Oh my god. It works. It works. Okay, so I just installed the side panel back, and I also installed the glass panel. Dude, this looks so good. Oh my god. This looks so good, dude. Holy shit. It's been like, what, 10 hours, 11 hours since I've started, and it's finally done. Finally done. Now all I need to do is just, well, install Windows, download all the drivers and all that. I don't know if I'll do it like tonight. I think I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm tired.
So that's what I did. I stayed up until 5 AM to install all the software and drivers. I already had Windows installed on my USB stick, so I plugged it in and installed Windows and all of that stuff. After booting in, I didn't have an internet connection because I had no drivers installed, so I unplugged my USB stick and plugged it into my laptop. Went to my motherboard's manufacturer's website and installed all the drivers that I needed. Selected all my drivers and transferred it to my USB stick. I plugged my USB stick back in my PC. I then began extracting the files and installing all the drivers on my PC. I downloaded the NVIDIA app and installed the GPU drivers. I then adjusted some Windows settings like turning off mouse acceleration, setting my monitor's refresh rate to 165Hz, setting my resolution to 1440p, setting my theme to dark mode. I disabled apps that I don't want to start up every time I turn on my PC. I then tweaked some things in BIOS like enabling Expo. And after 13 painful hours of building, downloading the software and drivers, my PC was finally ready to be used. So, how much did the PC itself cost? Well, it costed me a total of $1,310.53, which isn't that bad. I saved a good chunk of money from that Micro Center and Black Friday deal. I'll leave the PC part picker list down below if you would like to copy this build, but how does it run though? Well, on Minecraft, I would get 165 FPS, which I mean, yeah, no shit, Minecraft isn't really a graphically intensive game, but there's this one shader pack I've always wanted to run, but I would get like 60 FPS on my laptop, and when I turned them on, I got a consistent 165 FPS with a 16 chunk render distance. And look at these shaders, oh my god. On GTA 5, I also got a consistent 165 FPS with all maximum high settings when I was driving around Los Santos, which I was kind of expecting that. I mean, this game is 11 years old now. Jesus Christ, 11? Next up is BeamNG Drive, which is a car crash simulator game, and I have been very heavily addicted to this game as of recently, and I'm still am. On ultra settings, I would get a consistent 82 to 83 FPS, and my PC is barely making any noise when I'm playing games, while on my laptop it would be incredibly loud. Oh, by the way, the bus driver is completely fine, but how does it run DaVinci? Well, it runs great, no lag and stuttering when I drag and play a video. Very nice.